Let's talk about Kidsgrove Sports Centre. It'll reopen next month. Closed 5 years ago. Members of the community are taking ownership of it. And it's been a bit of a battle, but they've got there. It's an incredible story that we've been following for some time. Mark Clues is chair of Kidsgrove Sports Centre Community Group.
So in 2017, Kidsgrove Sports Centre was closed due to funding pressures from the local council. They made the decision they didn't want to operate it anymore, and at that point there was no plan in place for a replacement sports centre. That obviously for the community was devastating news, and it was felt that as a community we should have that ability to have accessible and affordable leisure for everybody. So following a bit of investigation of the options on the table, one of the options which had been done elsewhere in the country was to form a charitable organisation which was to run the leisure centre. And we set about with the aim and objective of doing exactly that in Kidsgrove, and with the purpose of reopening and ultimately providing affordable and accessible leisure to everybody in the community.
And how's the community come together over this? Because it seems to me we've followed the story from pretty much day one on this, and it seems to have certainly pulled certain sections of Kidsgrove together.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Initially, it obviously caused a very large outpouring of emotion, and maybe it caused fractions within the different political organisations that operate the council. However, the one thing it did do as it progressed was it pulled everybody together. I think there's a real sense that everybody understands the importance of the sports centre being a local community hub. And by channeling the energies into our vision to try and reopen it, I think that it actually gave the community a purpose and a strength. And I think we've seen, the united community can achieve anything when everybody pulls in the right direction.
Where are you up to now then? When will you take ownership?
So we expect to take ownership of the building at the end of this month. So it should be handed over by the contractor to the council, which then gets handed over to ourselves with a 25-year lease. That then means the building then falls into community ownership. So it will not only be basically owned and operated by the community, but it will belong to the community in theory for the next 25 years. And every single penny goes straight back into the sports centre and our local community.
And it's all been refurbed already then, if you're looking to take over very soon. What's it like in there? Is it what you hoped it would be?
Yeah, fantasy. So, we obviously set out with a vision of just reopening the sports centre, and obviously progression has led to the fact that we've got to probably a better outcome in many ways, because we've got a £7.5 million refurbishment that's gone on in the building. So, it looks absolutely stunning. I think that the first thing that many people say is wow, and that's exactly what we want to do. We want to inspire people to ultimately improve their mental, physical and social well-being. Within the centre, we're going to put about £200,000 to £300,000 worth of equipment that goes in. So when we get the building, we need to do a short period of time to obviously install our equipment, and then obviously it'll be open to the public and everybody can come and use it. And we look forward to welcoming everybody in the building.
What's your background, Mark? Do you know about leisure centres and fitness equipment and all that, or have you come, just as someone who cares in the community about your community?
My background is somebody who actually uses a leisure centre. I have no knowledge of how a leisure centre works. I must be honest, throughout this whole process, it's been a learning curve. I have a background from business and I'm in education at the moment, and I must be honest that I never knew what a sand filter looked like or a plant room looked like, and now obviously I've sort of become a mild expert on these sort of things. However, the one thing I will say is that if you really want to do something and you really believe in it, and obviously our stated objective was to reopen the sports centre, you just do it. It takes many hours of time, it takes a lot of passion, but it's certainly easier when you know you've got everybody behind you and you just put the time in, and ultimately, we're finally achieving that end goal.
Have you got an opening date for the public yet?
We're just currently finalising a few things to make sure we've got a date, but it will be in July. I can definitely assure you that, and we're going to release details probably in the next few days or so when we can tie down an exact date. But yes, July it will definitely be reopening to the public.
Mark Clues, chair of the Kidsgrove Sports Centre Community Group, will let you know, obviously, as and when it reopens. And just interesting that Mark, with a background in business and education, knew nothing other than what it's like to use a gym, by the sound of it. Has managed with others, and it's been a real community effort in Kidsgrove, to make this happen.